Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be my spoiler-free review of the brand new Ryan Reynolds movie, Free Guy. Now what this movie is it's Ryan Reynolds as an NPC character in this game called Free City, and his programming basically puts him in a loop, so he does the same thing every single day, just wakes up and just repeat, and one day something happens which allows him to make his own decisions, and that's what this movie is all about, and it was a really fun time. The first thing I want to talk about is the cast of this movie, because it's actually really good. You've got Ryan Reynolds, then you've got Jodie Comer as Molotov Girl or Millie. You've got Joe Keery in this, which a lot of you might know him from the Stranger Things series on Netflix. You've got director/actor Taika Waititi, and you get a ton of real-life streamers, which made this video game movie feel a little bit more realistic, which I thought was a nice touch by the movie by including real-life gamers instead of just making this like a video game movie but not including something that relates to the real world. But yeah, so Free Guy, played by Ryan Reynolds, is a super quirky, funny character, and he gets the privilege of making his own decisions, and to be honest, I got a lot of vibes of the Lego movie with this movie. Ryan Reynolds' character, his name is Guy, is basically like Emmett from the Lego movie, this stereotypical do-gooder who encounters someone who completely changes his life, and then he goes on a wild adventure, which basically means that Jodie Comer's character is like Wild style, and is the catalyst for Guy to just go nuts and make his own decisions and do whatever he wants, which I'm totally fine with because I think it worked for the movie really well. So something else that was really interesting with this movie was that there was almost like two stories going on at the same time. You have the Ryan Reynolds Guy story playing in this virtual world, but then you have a real world story going on between Taika Waititi, Jodie Comer, and Joe Keery's character. They all work for the studio that's creating this Free City game that Guy is in, and some shady stuff is happening inside of this studio. I'm not going to spoil exactly what it is because I don't think they ever revealed that in the trailers, but I guess what I could say that isn't spoilery is that something was stolen and some characters are trying to get proof that it was stolen. That's all I'm gonna say about that storyline, but I gotta say Taika Waititi's performance was probably like my favorite in the movie. He was like this over-the-top villain who is super funny, really weird guy, which Taika Waititi is in real life, so it was just kind of funny to watch this type of villain in the movie. He probably had the best jokes of the movie. Like, I literally laughed almost every single time that Taika was on the screen, and for whatever reason I don't think the comedy worked that well with Ryan Reynolds' character. Like, obviously he made me laugh a ton, but there was a lot of jokes where I didn't really laugh, and the people in my movie theater didn't either, which was really weird because I know a lot of people in their reviews for this movie were like, oh my god, this was so funny, I was laughing the whole time. And don't get me wrong, it was funny, it just wasn't that funny. Like, there was a lot of jokes that hit and then there were a few that didn't really hit, but overall it was a really funny movie. Like, it's a Ryan Reynolds movie, what else could you expect? And going back to Ryan Reynolds' character, like, I really like that they went with the NPC character route because most video game movies revolve around like real life people playing a video game versus like actually using the NPC character as the main character of the movie, which was a nice perspective shift for a video game movie. And this movie is packed with a ton of Easter eggs, so I can't wait for New Rockstars to post a video with all of the Easter eggs and breakdown of the movie. And Free City, this world that Guy lives in, basically feels like GTA Online. You have people like driving around using rocket launchers, shooting people, stealing, and Guy is just this normal guy who works at a bank, and one day something happens that completely changes his life and he's allowed to have free will. And it was just a really interesting concept, and I really liked the story, and having, you know, the animated people in the video game of Free City and then the real life people was fun to jump between in the movie, and then at the very end everything comes together and it all makes sense, and I thought it was all done in a pretty good way. Like, it felt pretty cohesive. There's one other character that I want to talk about that was in this movie. It's not a spoiler because he's been in a ton of trailers and a lot of promotional videos, and that is the character of Dude, which is basically this roided out version of Ryan Reynolds in the video game. This guy was hilarious. It reminded me of when I first started going to the gym. Like, everything was just like gym bro, protein, weights, just stereotypical bodybuilder stuff, and it was just hilarious to watch on the big screen, especially because Ryan Reynolds' face was CGI'd onto this bodybuilder's body, and he's as dumb as a rock, and it was super funny. And in an interaction between Guy and Dude, there is this epic scene that I know a ton of people are going to be talking about once they actually see the movie, because it's definitely a spoiler. All I'm gonna say is that Disney owns a lot of stuff, and they own this movie, and something happens which is awesome that involves other Disney properties. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but this scene was amazing. I was watching it in the theater and I was like, no way they did that. Like, like, no way, this is so cool. One other thing I want to mention is how good the visual effects were in this movie, because it was very, very good. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time during this movie, and the VFX team did a great job. Everything looked really, really crisp and dynamic, and whenever a video game movie is released, there's obviously going to be a ton of VFX because it is a video game, and sometimes the CGI can get a little bit shoddy because of how much is actually going on, but I'm happy to say that Free Guy's VFX team did a fantastic job, and it really felt like their VFX team had a much bigger budget than they actually did, and this thing was a pure spectacle. Like, I didn't even see this in IMAX or 3D and it looked that good, so I'll probably watch it again on Half Price Tuesday in IMAX and see if it makes the experience even a bit better. But yeah, visually this movie was awesome. That's all I can really say on a spoiler-free review of Free Guy. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie, so it's funny, it's really charismatic, the story was pretty good, and Guy is a really likable character. Tons of Easter eggs if you guys are interested in video games, and I would say this is definitely one of the better video game movies, because a lot of the movies in the past haven't been that good when they're based off of a game, and I know this one's not per se based off of a real video game, but it is a gaming movie, and Sean Levy, the director of the movie, did a really, really good job with this, and I definitely recommend to watch it. If you're a fan of Ryan Reynolds, or comedy movies, video games, or just good movies in general, I definitely recommend to go see this movie. Personally, I am going to give Free Guy a B+. Really, really solid movie overall. Like, yes, it could have been better, yes, the comedy could have been a bit better too, but it was a really good time, and I will definitely be watching this movie again. So guys, that's it for my Free Guy review. Leave a comment down below of what you guys thought about the movie. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe, because a ton of content is coming onto this channel, especially right now because tons of movies are coming out because they weren't released over the last maybe year and a half. So right now studios are just releasing movies left, right, and center, so we've got a lot to talk about. But for now, that's the end of this video. Thank you again for watching. I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.